All right. Okay. So everyone can see the slide. Okay. Okay. So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So previously we have discussed up until the food chain. What is food chain? What is food web? And why does food chain always be limited up until 5 to 6 trophic level? Okay. And then we also discussed the factors that cause the trophic level to be limited. Okay. So today we are going to continue our discussion of chapter related to the pyramid of biomass, pyramid of number, pyramid of energy. Okay. All right. So what is ecological pyramid? So we are talking about pyramid. So basically you have the knowledge related to pyramid. Okay, pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, and pyramid of energy. So we are going to discuss the detail why some pyramid is inverted, what caused some pyramid to be very, very sharp and whatnot. Okay, right. So ecological pyramid is a diagram that show the feeding relationship and energy transfer through biotic component of ecosystem, right? So the ecological pyramid is important to differentiate one ecosystem to another ecosystem sebab one ecosystem might be differ from another ecosystem. Okay. Secondly is to see, is there any seasonal variation that might induce the changes and affecting an ecosystem as well as the population. So in other words, we want to see adakah kadang-kadang perubahan season, right? Can cause changes in terms of the ecosystem as a whole, right? Okay, that is why we have to learn about pyramid. Okay, so there are 3 types of pyramid. Okay, so the first one is pyramid of number, second pyramid of biomass, and number 3 is pyramid of energy. So when we talk about a pyramid, so you must be orang kata apa? Take note, always take note that the producer will be at the base of the pyramid. Producer mesti duduk dekat the first trophic level. Right? And producer is eaten by primary consumer. So primary consumer will be at the second trophic level. Next, following the secondary consumer and so on. Okay, right. So let's start first with the pyramid of number. Okay, so pyramid of number is basis on the number of organism at each trophic level. Okay, and usually the number of the number of organism will be decreased at each successive level. Maksudnya makin naik ke another upper level of trophic level, so the number of individual usually decreases. Soalan dia kenapa? Why? Why usually the number will be increases as it goes up to the upper trophic level? Anyone? Anyone?
Dia akan makan, madam.
Ya, akan makan. Tapi kenapa number decreases? Why the number of tertiary consumer is less than the number of secondary consumer and whatnot?
Jumlah tenaga yang dapat, madam.
Selain daripada jumlah tenaga, benda paling penting? Okay, one is because of energy. Okay, energy loss or energy received. Okay, energy. Number 2 is because of size. Size of organism. So when what you call it, the food chain started from the base, right, from the producer, it goes to the upper trophic level. You basically, usually, the size of organism will be increasing if we are talking about normal food chain. But when we are talking about parasitic food chain, it will be different. Okay, right. So these are some of the factors that cause why the number of individual usually decreasing from one trophic level to another trophic level. Okay, right. Okay, sometime, okay, usually when we talk about a pyramid, ingat bentuk pyramid dia kena start bukan bentuk yang macam ni tadi tu. Bukan macam ni. Yang cara kalau keluar soalan, you have to draw pyramid. This is not the way how you draw a pyramid. So a pyramid should be square shaped like this one. Okay, so a pyramid, normal pyramid, right, usually have this shape. Right, started with the first one. Make sure jangan lupa label. This is the first trophic level. Kena label trophic level. This is the second trophic level. This is the third trophic level. Third trophic level. And this is, for example, this is the fourth trophic level. Kena tulis trophic level tu. Satu, wajib. That is 1 mark. Alright. Secondly, you have to mention the organism. Let's say given to you a food chain. Then you have to write down. Siapa kat bawah ni? Let's say grass. Contohnya. Kan? Grass eaten by grasshopper. So you have to write down the organism inside each of the trophic level. And don't forget to mention what are their roles. For example, grass is the producer. Alamak, tak cukup ruang. Okay. Grasshopper is the primary consumer. Right. The third trophic level would be the secondary consumer and so on. Okay. This is a normal shape of pyramid. But, okay, sometimes there are few problems arise related to or problem in drawing or determining the pyramid. What are the problems related to pyramid of number? So this is referring to the problem of pyramid number. Okay, problem related to the pyramid of number. So what are the problems related to pyramid of number? Number one, problem in deciding which trophic level an organism belongs to. Because we are referring to the number. Kadang-kadang it will be a problem to determine organism ni duduk tropik yang keberapa. Sebab bilangan dia banyak. Adakah dia dekat bawah? Macam tu. Especially related to parasitic food chain. That is problem number one. Problem number two is producer are very incised. Okay, please take note. This part is very important. Alright. Problem related to pyramid of number. Producer are very incised. But a single grass or algae have the same status of a tree. Maksud dia macam mana tu? If you have sejuta rumput dan satu batang pokok yang ada sejuta daun, satu batang pokok yang ada sejuta daun tu nilai dia tetap 1. Got it or not? So that is a problem related to pyramid of number which makes it couldn't be a pyramid shape. Okay, nanti kita tengok kejap lagi Right. So thus, when this problem arises, so pyramid cannot be obtained the pyramid shape. Dia akan jadi inverted pyramid. Okay. For example, parasitic food chain can produce an inverted pyramid. So bentuk dia as overall bukan macam ni, dia akan terbalik. Inverted pyramid. Okay, nanti kita tengok And the next problem is the range number is too great. So it is difficult to draw the pyramid into scale. All right. When we are talking about pyramid of number, for example, this one, 5 millions as compared to 5 millions. Okay, 5 million as compared to 700,000 as compared to 300,000. So how you want to make the scale of size of the box, the width or the length of the box? So susah. Right? So when the range of number is too great, it is so difficult to draw the pyramid into scale. Okay, right. Let's see the example over here. Okay, this is an example of inverted pyramid. Okay, and this is an example of a pyramid shape that is not really pyramid due to the what you call it, producer. Okay, let's see the first one. So we have a food chain over here. Oak eaten by caterpillar. Caterpillar eaten by blackbird. Blackbird eaten by buzzard, a larger bird. All right. So when you have this kind of pyramid, then you are asked to be to draw. Sorry. When you have this kind of food chain, you will be asked to draw a pyramid. Apakah bentuk piramid yang betul? You can see that what happened here, oak is the producer. Tapi nampak tak? Dia kecil. Kenapa dia kecil? Even though oak has millions of leaves, tapi nilai dia tetap satu. Sama macam a single grass. So a single grass has the same status as a single tree. So that's why it become like this. Okay, so ni kena ingat, right? Caterpillar of course lebih banyak daripada blackbird, and blackbird lebih banyak daripada buzzard. Okay, alright. Secondly is another food chain where you have oak eaten by squirrel. Squirrel, what you call it, lice, get nutrient from the squirrel, right, as a parasite. So this is parasitic food chain. Okay, this is a parasitic food chain. And within the lice, there are thousands of Leptomonas. So Leptomonas punya bilangan lagi banyak daripada lice. Lice punya bilangan lagi banyak daripada squirrel. And of course, squirrel punya bilangan akan consider lagi banyak daripada oak. Because one tree has same status as one grass. Okay, alright. So that's why you can see parasitic food chain will be inverted pyramid. Okay, right. Faham ke tak faham? Any question? Okay, so far?
Okay.
Okay, alright. So don't forget, let's say you are again keluar soalan structure asking you to write down the pyramid. Jangan lupa tulis the trophic level. Alright, and don't forget to also mention on the type of consumerism dia, like the oak tree is the producer. Okay, squirrel, this is at the first trophic level. Squirrel is at the second trophic level. And squirrel is the primary consumer. Okay, and so on. Okay, right. Okay, so that is pyramid of number. Next, we go to the pyramid of biomass. Okay, so pyramid of biomass is actually related to the standing crop of biomass at each trophic level. So what is standing crop biomass? Standing crop biomass is the total dry mass. Dalam bahasa ringkas, berat tanpa air. Right, berat organism, seluruh organism tanpa air at that particular moment in time. Okay, right. So most biomass will show a very sharp decrease, and it is not inverted at successive higher trophic level. So bentuk dia akan jadi very, very sharp, like this one. Okay, you can see this is the producer, the biomass of producer, compared to the biomass of the primary consumer. Very distinct, different between one trophic level to another trophic level. That's why it will forming a very sharp pyramid. Okay, so sharp decrease in the pyramid of biomass. Okay, right. And for another example here, you can see something special. Okay, take note Right, you can see that sepatutnya, right, in a normal ecosystem, producer punya biomass must be very, very big. Betul tak? So that it can support the consumer. Contoh, grasses eaten by caterpillar. So the grass biomass must be higher compared to the biomass of the consumer. barulah that ecosystem is said to be normal, which orang kata apa? Resources, rumput mencukupi to support the biomass of the consumer, which is caterpillar. But you can see here in this aquatic ecosystem, such as in the ecosystem of English Channel, right? Okay, so terusan Inggris ni, right? So you can see that there is a small biomass of producer that support a larger biomass of the primary consumer. So phytoplankton is the producer, zooplankton is the primary consumer. So logiknya kita rasa macam mana logik? Producer punya biomass sikit, how they can support the large biomass of the consumer? So ada reason why this English channel have different kind of pyramid of biomass. Kenapa English channel punya biomass macam ini? Right? Okay, look here. Okay, so you can see that there is in this ecosystem of English channel, it providing or it producing an inverted pyramid of biomass, right? Because the producer, which is the phytoplankton, grow, reproduce, and consume very quickly by the zooplankton. Thus, their biomass remain comparatively low. Maknanya apa? Sebenarnya the phytoplankton tu memang banyak sangat. Tetapi that phytoplankton grow very quickly, reproduce very quickly, and consume very quickly by the consumer, which is the zooplankton. That's why the total biomass remain very low. But it still actually can support the large biomass of the consumer. Okay, itu maksud dia. Kenapa this ecosystem have this kind of inverted pyramid? Okay, right. However, because the phytoplankton are continually replaced by their biomass in such a rapid rate, grow, reproduce, makan, grow, reproduce, makan, cepat. Right, the phytoplankton replace their biomass at such a rapid rate. Thus, they can still support the biomass of zooplankton, even though it is bigger than their own biomass. Okay, soalan ini selalu ditanya, why this pyramid of biomass producing an inverted pyramid, especially related to this English channel punya ecosystem between phytoplankton and zooplankton. So hafal, okay? Okay, if you have question, just ask, okay? Right, next, pyramid of energy or pyramid of production. So this pyramid of energy is basically referring to the loss of energy, right? The loss of energy with each transfer in a food chain can be represented by an energy pyramid. The net production of different profit level are arranged in tiers. The width of each tier is proportional to the net production expressed in joule of each profit level. Okay, so in other words, this pyramid of energy showing you the energy obtained, and you can actually calculate the energy loss from one profit level to another profit level. Okay, example, here you can see the food chain of this ecosystem. Plants eaten by grasshopper, or grass eaten by flower eaten by grasshopper, grasshopper eaten by mice, mice eaten by a hawk or eagle, for example. So you can see that primary producer have a larger what we call it energy obtained. As as the grasshopper consume the producer, you can see that grasshopper only receive 1000 joule of energy. So mana pergi yang lain tu? So most of the energy lost as heat. One of the factor, right? So basically, what is the energy efficiency? Berapa persen je yang sebenarnya dapat kepada primary consumer? Around 10% only. Similarly to what received by the next consumer, which receive only 10%, which most of the 90% of energy lost. Okay, all right. So that is what's shown by the pyramid of energy. Okay, basic there. All right, next we go to the GPP and MPP. Okay, GPP and MPP. Okay, what is GPP and NPP? And discuss how energy loss along the food chain. Okay, and we want to discuss the efficiency of energy transfer between trophic level. Okay. Okay. First, we start with GPP. Okay, GPP stand for gross primary production. Gross primary production. So it is the amount of energy from the light, that is converted to chemical energy, right? Of the organic molecule per unit time. Not all GPP will be stored. Some of the GPP will use as fuel, for example, in cellular respiration. Okay, so in other words, what is GPP? Jumlah tenaga yang ditukarkan daripada cahaya matahari, right, from the light or any chemical, convert into chemical energy that's stored in the organic molecule. For example, stored in the plant as the process of photosynthesis. Okay. All right. And what is NPP? So NPP is equal to GPP minus energy used by the producer, right? For example, for their respiration. In other words, GPP, jumlah tenaga yang tumbuhan dapat daripada matahari, tolak dengan energy used by the plant for their respiration. So that is referring to NPP. So NPP equals to GPP minus R. A if we refer to the autotroph. Okay, so NPP sama dengan GPP minus R. R stand for respiration. Okay, so this NPP represent the storage of chemical energy that will be available for the next consumer, right? Okay, step here. Okay, trophic efficiency. Now let's see how efficient energy is transferred from one trophic level to another trophic level. Okay, the percentage of production transfer from one trophic level to the next trophic level is usually low in terms of efficiency. Maknanya apa? Tenaga daripada satu trophic level, as it transfer to another trophic level, energy obtained to the next trophic level is not that high. All right, so that's why we say as it is not really efficient. So what caused the trophic efficiency is lower. So ni kena hafal. Okay, what caused the efficiency of trophic level, efficiency of energy transfer from one trophic level to another trophic level is low. One of the reason, energy that is lost in respiration. In other words, energy that lost in as heat. Contohnya. Okay, right. Number two, energy that is lost in feces. So ini pun akan menyebabkan kehilangan tenaga, which can cause inefficiency of energy transfer. And number three is energy in organic material in the lower trophic level that is not consumed. Okay, apa maksud energy in organic material in the lower trophic level that is not consumed? Remember, plant is eaten by herbivore contohnya as primary consumer. Okay, but we have to know that some part of plant is not edible. Ataupun let's say we are talking about daun ke kan. So cell wall, right, is made of cellulose. So cellulose is not easy to be digested. So that will cause some of the energy trap due to the undigested food that is found in the plant. Okay, itu maksud dia. Okay, usually the trophic efficiency ranges from 5% to 20%. Maksudnya NPP usually dalam 5% to 20% sahaja. Okay, right. So and on average there is only 10% efficiency of trophic efficiency from one to another. Okay, average efficiency transfer from plant to herbivore is 10%. average efficiency from animal to animal is usually about 20%. So kenapa efficiency of energy transfer daripada plant kepada herbivore hanya 10% saja? Macam Madam cakap tadi, kenapa some part of plant are not edible? So these are the factor why average efficiency transfer of energy from plant to herbivore is lower. Okay, first, plant cell wall is made of cellulose. So usually cellulose are not fully digested. So that will actually cause a loss lah in terms of energy. Okay, right. And many plant parts are not edible. Okay, ada bahagian-bahagian tubuh yang tak boleh dimakan. So that is also akan menyebabkan kata apa, kebaziran tenaga. Okay, right. Okay, so far okay?
Okay, Madam.
Madam,
Yep.
kalau contoh kalau apa? Kalau omnivore macam manusia kan, makan sayuran selulus. So dia transfer dia macam mana? Ke
Sama juga. Traffic efficiency will be like 10% sahaja efficiency, because macam contoh kalau kita makan sayur, kadang-kadang yang keluar balik pun is not fully digested sayur kan. So maksudnya apa yang kita dapat tak sebanyak yang sepatutnya, which contain inside the plant itself. Macam tu. Okay.
Okay, Madam.
Okay, right. Okay, next we go to here. Example of calculation related to GPP and NPP. So please take note. Soalan calculation sure keluar. Right? Especially in MCQ ke ataupun maybe in structure. Okay. Right. Calculate GPP and NPP of the producer by for the following energy flow. Right. You have here a food chain. Right. Where you have autotroph. Tak kisahlah, plant ke, tree ke, flower ke, whatever, eaten by caterpillar, caterpillar eaten by beetles, and beetles eaten by bird. Okay, that is your food chain. Okay, and you can see here, it shows you the amount of energy that actually penetrated or received by the autotroph, which is the producer. Okay, example, plants. Plants apalah, plants ke, algae ke, tapi caterpillar kan, so kita kira pakai plants lah, flower ke, grasses ke, pokok ke. Okay, right. So you can see here, solar energy, right? What we call it? Transfer around 1 times 10 to the power of 6 kilojoule of energy. So among this amount of energy, 0.5 times 10 to the power of 6 kilojoule is reflected. Right? So berapa banyak yang absorb by the leaves or by the plant? You akan dapat 0.5. That is absorbed. Okay? Right. So mana dapat 0.5, madam? Yang ni minus yang ni dulu. Solar energy minus the one that is reflected. So the one that receive or absorb penetrated the what you call it, atmosphere and then received by the plant, okay, is around what you call it, 0.5 times 10 to the power of 6 kilojoule. But then, right, you can see here this amount of energy that absorbed by our atmosphere, for example, ataupun reach to the surface of the leaves, okay, some amount of energy is then evaporated, right? As heat, during conduction ke, convection ke, alright. So ini berlaku dekat kita punya atmosphere lah. Okay, berlaku ke atmosphere. Maksudnya amount of energy that absorb dekat atmosphere, some of it is still lost due to evaporation, due to conduction or convection. So berapa banyak yang akan dapat GPP? Macam mana nak kira? Soalan minta GPP and NPP. So the first question you have to get what is the GPP. What is the answer?
10,000.
10,000. You all dah kira Kita percaya kat you all je ni. 10,000 kilojoule of energy. So that is the GPP of the producer. After kita dah consider energy reflected, energy that is absorbed, and minus those that is evaporated and come back and whatnot. Okay, so 10,000 kilojoule of energy. So that is answer for the first question, GPP. Okay, what about NPP? Remember, NPP is net primary production. So net primary production, calculation dia apa? NPP equals to?
GPP
Minus.
P.
Alright. So given to you, respiration is 2,000 kilojoule. So your GPP is 8,000 kilojoule minus 2,000 kilojoule. So the NPP that is actually net, okay, received by the yang ada pada tumbuhan ialah hanya 10 pula dah. Ni apa tadi? Ni 10 kan? Okay. Adalah 8,000 kilojoule. Okay, so that is the NPP of the producer. Okay, dapat So that is the first question. Second question, determine amount of energy found or found in the bird's biomass. Assume trophic efficiency along the food chain is 10%. Soalan ni biasa akan keluar and it will give you this annotation. Maknanya setiap soalan calculation dia akan bagi annotation and assumption what is the trophic efficiency. So in this case dia bagi trophic efficiency, meaning to say efficiency of energy transfer daripada one trophic level to another trophic level to another trophic level is 10%. Okay, so what is the efficiency? What is the amount of energy in the bird's biomass?
8.
Betul, 8. Mana dapat 8?
8,000 times 10% times 10% times 10%.
Very good. Okay, so remember given to you respiration, right? So caterpillar consume the plant. So how much energy caterpillar will receive after minus whatever loss as respiration? So from the 8,000 kita tolak 10%, right? Or a trophic efficiency. So yang dapat dekat caterpillar hanya 800 kilojoule sahaja. So the rest, which is 90% of the energy actually lost in respiration. Similarly to how much received by the beetle, 10% efficiency sahaja. So beetle receive only 80 kilojoule. Okay, the rest amount of energy lost in respiration in feces, and similarly what get by the bird is 8 kilojoule sahaja. Okay, macam inilah soalan akan keluar. Okay, right. Nanti once we finish all the syllabus, then we try a few questions. Okay, right. So this is how to get the answer. Okay, right. Or you can buat macam ni lah. 10% 10 over 100 or 0.1 times 0.1 times 8,000 kilojoule. Okay. All right. Okay, so that is one. Okay, next, finish. Finish with the pyramid, right? The 3 types of pyramid, NPP, GPP. DPP, NPP. Okay. Next, we go to describe the carbon and nitrogen cycle. Okay, carbon and nitrogen cycle. So these are 2 cycles that you have to learn. Kat sekolah, tak silap media, we dah belajar water cycle kan. And I'm not sure what other cycles. So here, kita belajar 2 cycle sahaja. Carbon cycle and nitrogen cycle. Okay. What is important in this subtopic? Right? What should you know? Number 1, you have to know what are the reservoir of carbon and also nitrogen. Okay, maksudnya kena tahu reservoir, mana punca simpanan karbon, mana datang karbon, right? Dan karbon akan simpan di mana. Similar goes to nitrogen. You need to know the reservoir. And number 2 is what are the process involved with the movement of reservoir. Okay, maksudnya proses. Apa yang menyebabkan reservoir from one reservoir can be moved to another reservoir? Contoh, carbon dalam organic matter like animals or plant. Macam mana carbon daripada animal dengan plant boleh masuk dalam tanah? What is the process? Okay, so the process is decomposition. So when animal or plant die, right, kita akan tanam dalam tanah kan? So the process actually will help in the transfer of chemical or carbon from the organic matter into the soil, right? And the process later will continue. So kita kena tahu proses, kita kena tahu what are the reservoir. Okay, right. Okay, carbon cycle. We start with carbon cycle. So carbon are very important as it is the framework of all organic molecule and that is essential to all organism, right? So or in other words, all organism are basically made or contain carbon. Okay, so what are form of carbon that are available to life? Number one, photosynthetic organism utilize carbon dioxide during photosynthesis and then convert the carbon to organic form that will be used by consumer. Okay, right. So that is one. So photosynthesis is one of the factor that cause the availability of carbon ataupun utilization of carbon in the form of carbon dioxide. Okay, all right. So you can see over here as general. So carbon dioxide found or present in the atmosphere, which can be utilized by plant via photosynthesis, right? So then photosynthesis produce oxygen. So oxygen will be used or what you call it will be utilized by animals, where animal will undergo respiration, which cellular respiration can return carbon dioxide back in atmosphere. So that is one how chemical can be cycled from atmosphere to organic molecule and back to atmosphere. So one. Right? So another, you can see another, based on this picture, you can see that, okay, like some animal or plant died. Okay, they will be decomposed. So the process is decomposition. So carbon will be present in the soil. Okay, and the what I call it, the decomposed organism can actually help to return carbon back to atmosphere as aquatic consumers undergo ataupun using or undergoing the cellular respiration, right? So these are some of the what I call it, how the carbon can be cycled in an ecosystem. Okay, jom kita tengok right, reservoir. So what is reservoir? Reservoir is the major what I call it, the major reservoir for carbon include fossil fuel. Okay, fossil, carbon that found in fossil, okay, carbon that found in soil, carbon in the sediment of aquatic ecosystem, okay, sediment of aquatic ecosystem, right? Contoh macam ikan-ikan mati termendap, so itu kita panggil sediment of aquatic ecosystem. Atau ikan dalam laut makan ikan-ikan kecil, so dia jadi bila makan kan dia jadi serpih-serpih daging and what not tu, so dia akan sedimented, so dia akan sediment of aquatic ecosystem. Okay, and then next, the ocean itself has dissolved carbon compound. For example, the one that is stored in the limestone. Dekat coral ke, okay, dekat coral ke, so these are ocean content of carbon, right, in the form of dissolved carbon compound. And in plant and animal biomass also contain carbon and as well as atmosphere. So these are the reservoir of carbon. Okay, kat mana punca ataupun simpanan-simpanan carbon. Okay, right. So the largest reservoir, right, of carbon found in the sedimentary rocks like limestone. So carbon remain in this pool for a long period of time. So carbon yang ada dalam batu kapur adalah penyimpan takungan karbon terbesar. Okay, right. All organisms are capable of returning carbon directly to their environment in its original form, carbon dioxide, through the process of respiration. So we can see tadi konsep yang pertama, how carbon can return back to the atmosphere through the process of respiration. Okay. Key process in carbon cycle? Number one, photosynthesis. Selain daripada cellular respiration tadi, photosynthesis. So photosynthesis by plant and phytoplankton remove substantial amount of atmospheric carbon dioxide each year. So number one, photosynthesis. Okay, so photosynthesis. Next, this quantity is approximately equal to the carbon dioxide added to the atmosphere through the cellular respiration by producers and consumers. So number two is cellular respiration. So kita nampak tadi kan, carbon dioxide from the atmosphere used by the plant for photosynthesis and animals, all right, utilizing oxygen as the byproduct from the photosynthesis and return the carbon dioxide as the byproduct back to the atmosphere. Okay, so number two. Number three, burning of fossil fuel and wood, right? Also adding a significant amount of additional carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Burning of fossil fuel. Contoh, contoh fossil fuel apa? Apa contoh fossil fuel?
Barang batu.
Coal, okay. Contohlah tu. Barang batu semua tu kan, okay. Right, so burning of fossil fuel and wood helps to add a significant amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So ni number 3. And number 4, geological activities. Number 4. Okay. Over time, some geological activities happen. For example, volcanic eruption. So volcanic eruption can also release a substantial amount of carbon dioxide back to the atmosphere. So these are key processes that might cycling, right? Chemical from one a reservoir to another reservoir. Okay, right. Geological activities ataupun kita panggil natural activities lah. Natural activities. Like volcanic eruption. Okay. Okay, so that is things that you should know about carbon cycle. Okay. Right. Next, we go to the nitrogen cycle. Okay. So nitrogen is very important part of amino acid. So amino acid contain nitrogen. Okay. So nitrogen is a very important part of amino acid, protein, and also building block of nucleic acid, and it often limiting the plant nutrient. Okay. Right. So what are the form nitrogen available to life? Number 1, plant can use. First, we need to know how plant can utilize nitrogen. Okay, plant can utilize nitrogen in the ammonium form, right, and also nitrate form, and some organic forms such as amino acid. So this is how plant can utilize nitrogen in the form of ammonium dengan nitrate. Okay, various bacteria also can use all these form as well as the nitrite form, NO2 minus. Animal can only use organic form of nitrogen. Okay, all right. So, okay, nanti kita tengok dia punya cycle. What are the main reservoir of nitrogen? So the main reservoir of nitrogen first came from the atmosphere. Okay, in the form of nitrogen gas. Other reservoir are like soil, nitrogen yang ada dalam tanah, nitrogen in the sediment of lakes, rivers, and ocean. Okay, and then surface water and groundwater. Maksudnya kandungan air, right? Surface water dan juga groundwater, and also biomass of living organism. So these are example of reservoir, nitrogen reservoir. Okay, right. Okay, so let's see the key process. Okay, number 1. Madam tengok kat sini dulu and then I go back to the picture. Okay, right. Number 1 is the process of nitrogen fixation. Okay, so nitrogen fixation is the conversion of nitrogen gas from the atmosphere. Okay, conversion of nitrogen gas to atmosphere, in the atmosphere, to the form that can be synthesized, right? Yaitu dalam bentuk ammonia, ammonium, or nitrate. The first process is the process of conversion of nitrogen into organic nitrogen compound. Okay, so nitrogen fixating bacteria known as rhizobium, as well as lightning and volcanic activities can fix nitrogen naturally. And this process also can occur due to industrial processes. Okay, so the first process is nitrogen fixation. Kalau kita relate with what we call it bacteria, by the help of nitrogen fixating bacteria known as rhizobium. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's say you have here in the atmosphere, you have nitrogen gas. So nitrogen gas can be converted to the form of ammonia and ammonium by nitrogen, let me use another color, nitrogen fixating bacteria. Nitrogen fixating bacteria. Okay, so known as rhizobium. Apa proses kat sini? The process is known as nitrogen fixation. Dah buruknya. Semula Okay, the process is known as nitrogen fixation. Okay. Do you have this picture in your notes?
Ada.
Okay. Right. So nitrogen fixation is a process that induced by few factors. One of it is nitrogen fixating bacteria, namanya rhizobium, which convert nitrogen from the atmosphere to other form of nitrogen like ammonia and ammonium. Okay, settle yang tu. Okay, number one. Next. Okay, so you can see this is just example of nitrogen fixing bacteria that usually found in legumes. Kat mana banyak nitrogen fixating bacteria ni? Rhizobium tu banyak ada dalam tanah dekat pokok-pokok pea family, ke kacang, right? Because they are from legumes. Dia ada macam legumes macam tu. Okay, right. Okay, the next process is nitrification. Tadi nitrogen fixation. Now number two, nitrification. What is nitrification? Nitrification is the conversion of ammonia or ammonium tadi to nitrate. And this process involves nitrifying bacteria. So another bacteria, nitrifying bacteria. Okay, let's go back and look at the picture. Right, you can see the conversion of ammonium or ammonia to nitrate. Dia boleh terus convert into nitrate ataupun kalau ikutkan kena tukar dulu dari nitrite, lepas nitrite jadi nitrate. So this process is assisted by nitrifying bacteria. And the process is known as proses apa tadi?
Nitrification.
Nitrification. Okay, right. So tu. Okay, next. Number 3. Assimilation. Okay, right. Assimilation is the process where the plant takes in ammonia, ammonium or nitrate. And nitrogen is incorporated into protein, nucleic acid or chlorophyll. So this will later available to be to another consumer in the footwear. So assimilation ialah proses penggunaan, how nitrogen is utilized. Okay, jom kita tengok kat mana assimilation tu. Right, you can see now we have nitrate. Nitrate ke ammonium ke is assimilated or absorbed, in this case absorbed by the plant roots. Right, so the process here we call as assimilation. Okay, all right, so that is assimilation. Okay, plant takes in, okay, plant absorb, okay, absorb, okay, ammonia ke ammonium ke nitrate ke, okay. All right, so that is number 3. Number 4, okay, the process of the process of ammonification. Ammonification is the process of breakdown of organic material into ammonia or ammonium. Bacteria or fungi break down the dead organic matter. So remember, bacteria, fungi usually known as apa? Detritus or detritivores?
Detritivores.
Detritivores. Okay, that break down dead organic matter, which is detritus, into ammonia or ammonium. Okay, so ammonification is the process of breakdown of organic material. Okay, let's see where. Okay, kat mana? Here, the process of decomposition. Okay, you can see protein from humus, dead organic matter, for example. Right, so microbe decompose dead organic matter. So the process is known as sorry. The process is known as ammonification. And it is assisted by ammonifying bacteria. So organic material is converted into sama ada ammonium ke ataupun ammonia ke seperti dia kata kan. Tadi? Okay. Ammonia or ammonium. And number 5, okay. Sorry. Urea in urine or uric acid in blood also can be source of conversion of organic material into ammonia or ammonium in the soil. Okay, urea yang ada dalam urine burung. Okay, next one, the process of denitrification. Denitrification is the conversion of nitrate to nitrogen gas by assistance of denitrifying bacteria. Maksudnya the process to return nitrate ataupun to return nitrogen back to atmosphere. Okay, denitrification. Okay, mana dia? Okay, right. Denitrification. Okay, you can see conversion of nitrate to nitrogen gas in atmosphere. So the process involve denitrifying bacteria and the process is known as denitrification. Okay, or rock, weathering of rock. Maksudnya batuan-batuan yang ada, batu yang contain what we call it, nitrogen, right, is degraded ataupun berlaku hakisan batu ke and absorb ataupun absorb in the soil pun boleh dipatah balik nanti as it is assimilated by the root, it can be returned back to atmosphere by the process of denitrification. Okay. Alright, so that is summary on the process involve nitrogen cycle. So ingat you kena tahu apa itu nitrification, apa berlaku, what is assimilation, what is denitrification, what is nitrogen fixation, what is ammonification. Semua tu kena ingat. Okay, right. Okay, nitrogen input from human activities now outpace the natural input on land. This is due to the use of fertilizers in farm, field and golf courses that cause the runoff of nitrogen. Okay, maksudnya kilang-kilang penggunaan fertilizer yang sangat tinggi which contain high level of nitrogen boleh menyebabkan dalam tanah mempunyai very high nitrogen. Maksudnya human activities lead whatever that natural did nowadays. Okay, itulah cerita. Okay, so this is another picture showing you the process. Okay, right, nitrogen in atmosphere, right, can be present ataupun can be converted in the form that available in the soil by the helps of nitrogen fixating bacteria. Okay, so then it can be converted into ammonium. Ataupun another process is when plant died ke binatang ke mati ke apa ke, process decomposition takes place and of course ammonification also will happen, right? Which convert nitrogen available in the organic form and then available in the ammonium, in the form of ammonium. So ammonium can be converted into nitrite or nitrate by the process of nitrification using nitrifying bacteria. And nitrate can be assimilated or utilized by the plant by the process of assimilation. And nitrate also can be converted into nitrogen gas back to the atmosphere by the help of denitrifying bacteria. Okay, right. So I guess this picture lagi jelas nak faham sebenarnya. Okay, right. Okay, habis. Alright, so make sure you know what are the process involved in the cycle. Okay. Decomposition, assimilation, okay, ammonification, nitrification, nitrogen fixation. Okay. Right, so far any question? Tak ada?
Tak ada.
Okay, kalau tak ada, next we go to sustainable development. Last LO for this chapter. Okay, very easy one. Explain what is meant by sustainable development. What are the goals of that leading to the sustainable development? Okay, so what is sustainable development? So even economic development rapidly orang kata apa, grow as we see nowadays. Okay, so economic development must be meet the need of people today without limiting the ability of future generation to meet their needs, right? So sustainable development requires connection between life, sciences, social sciences, economic and humanity. Kalau kita ikut Islamic perspektif, kena follow maqasid syariah. Okay, right. The goal is to use politics and economy to encourage environmentally beneficial and sustainable form of economic development. Kita nak environment yang sangat benefit plus economic development. Number 2, discourage any developmentally that harmful and unsustainable form of economic growth. Kita tak nak economic growth very good, but it actually harm the environment. So itu kita tak nak. That is not a sustainable development. Atau bahasa Melayu kita panggil apa nah? Allahu Akbar. Mampan. Sustainable development. Pembangunan mapan. Okay, right. Countries including Malaysia have gathered and agreed to adopt the 17 global goal for sustainable development. Termasuklah UIA, kan? So what are the 17 goal to achieve sustainable development? So yang ni semua 17 ni kena hafal. Make sure you can hafal and you can explain or describe a little bit in case come up in structure question. But usually soalan ni akan keluar MCQ saja. Usually, okay? Number 1, no poverty, right? So economic growth must be inclusive to everyone, right? To provide a sustainable job and promote equality. So goal number 1 is to reduce poverty, okay? Right. Goal number 2 is zero hunger. Right, the food and agricultural sector offer key solution for development, and it is the central for hunger poverty eradication. So the goal of zero hunger is to eradicate poverty. Okay, right. So that's why even CFS pun banyak buat program iftar, free food, free Tupperware and whatnot. This one lah, one of the goal is to make sure everyone can eat. Right, macam itulah. Okay, number 3, good health and well-being, to ensure that everyone will get enough and good healthcare. Okay, right. Number 3. Number 4, right? Quality education. Okay, obtaining a quality education is a fundamental to improve people's lives and sustainable development. That's why even Malaysia pun sangat menggalakkan dah education ni. Dia dah pergi reach out sampai semua area. Walaupun dekat kawasan Ceruk Ceruk pun kita nak semua orang dapat education. Okay, all right. Number 5, gender equality. So gender equality is not only fundamental human right, but it is a necessary foundation for peace, prosperous and sustainable world. Okay, that's why now kita dah ada ni lah akta-akta untuk sexual harassment ke kalau ada, right? And then even in a company, you will be having a CEO that is female CEO, right? So this is to promote gender equality. Everyone has the chance to get the post ataupun to be one of the important person, kan? Okay, itu. Number 6, clean water and sanitation. Okay, clean, accessible water for all is an essential part of the world that we want to live in. Sebab tu, that's why PM sekarang ni baru umum ada bajet tambahan untuk make sure dekat Kelantan, dekat Sabah dapat accessible for clean water. Macam itulah. Okay. Number 7, affordable and clean energy. So that's why we are orang kata apa, we are actually towards saving energy, pakai solar lah, apalah kan, semua tu. So to provide affordable and clean energy. Number 8, decent work and economic growth. Sustainable economic growth will require society to create conditions that allow people to have job quality. So kalau kita tengok kat Malaysia, I give example in Malaysia. So sekarang ni dah banyak what you call it, job hunting event that is kata apa, organised by kerajaan ataupun kerajaan pusat ataupun kerajaan negeri to help reducing kata apa, kadar pengangguran dekat Malaysia, kan, so that everyone can get job. Okay. Next, number 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. So investment is very important so that infrastructure can be developed, which can increase orang kata apa, pelabur-pelabur luar to invest in our country and thus increase our economic growth. Okay, right? Number 9, reduce inequalities. Okay, to reduce inequalities, policies should be universal, right? And paying attention to the needs of disadvantaged and marginalized population. Okay, so sekarang ni pun dah banyak dah orang kata apa, the sound of to reduce inequalities antara orang biasa dengan OKU, for example. So semua dapat peluang yang sama, even to get job. Okay, right. Next, sustainable cities and communities. So there need to be a future which cities can provide opportunities to all, including basic service, energy and transportation. Kan? Okay, next, responsible consumption and production. So we can see that ni lah, this one is more promoting to recycling, okay, and reusage. Number 13, climate action. Climate change is a global challenge that affect everyone everywhere. So sekarang ni dah banyak education that leads or to educate people to care for the environment, kan? Okay. 14, life below water. Sama juga related to ecosystem. So we also need to care all life underwater. Sebab tu sekarang dah ada lah no plastik lah, apa kan? Lepas tu jangan makan telur penyu lah, whatever, semualah. And then life on land pun sama. To manage forests, right? That's why there are law of deforestation, to control deforestation, degradation and whatnot. Okay, so tu. And number 16, access to justice for all, right? Building effective, accountable institution all level. So sama juga, this is also what we try to abide with, iaitu to provide orang kata apa, in an institution that is justice for all, kan, hakim ke apa ke, jangan ada rasuah and whatnot, semua itulah. And last one is revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development, okay, by like joining convocation pula dah, apa nama, conference, convention that related to sustainable development. Okay, so these are all the 17 goals. Kena hafal lah konsep-konsep behind each of these 17 goals. Okay. All right, so despite learning about the what I call it, apa yang kita cuba capai. So kita tengok juga whatever that Islam encourage us related to ecology, Islam and ecology. So Quran states that all that is in the earth has been subjected to human, and He will whom created you from all things on earth. Right? Apa-apa yang Allah bagi ni dah ada subjected to sesuatu. Okay, so human have a special status that Allah gives, which is as Khalifah. So sebagai Khalifah, so we need to understood that we have amanah to take care of the whatever that Allah gives us, kan? So tu semua banyak surah lah. Okay, so another surah juga Allah mention pasal human will be accountable for anything that they do. Okay, so destruction, apa semua. So Allah will give us to taste whatever that we did with our own hands. Okay, and next ayat juga, next verse, ada verse dalam surah ayat yang lain, dalam surah yang lain, Allah cakap pasal wastefulness and overconsumption are prohibited. Jangan membazir, for example. Okay, right. So this is again related to the goal of sustainable development. Okay, and next is balance. Right, is to be maintained in all things, including presumably natural system. So semua kena balance. Jangan terlalu mengejar pembangunan sampai we are actually harm the ecosystem, something like that. Okay. All right. So, and Prophet Muhammad also sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that any Muslim who plant or cultivate vegetation and eat from it, and or another person or animal, bird or eat from it, will receive reward from Allah. Maksudnya kalau kita menanam pokok dan orang lain mendapat manfaat daripada apa yang kita tanam, so kita akan dapat pahala. Macam tu, Okay, even kalau orang berteduh bawah pokok yang kita tanam pun, right? So you can see, will have reward with Allah. Okay, right. So that is mark end of chapter 11. Okay, that is all. Okay, so let's continue with a new chapter. So chapter 12, population ecology. Okay, right. So in this chapter, basically we are going to learn on how population changes or fluctuating over time, factors that causing a population to change. Example, from one generation to another generation, ataupun from one year to another year, right? What cause all the dynamics in terms of population. Okay, so what is population ecology? So population ecology is a study of dynamic of population of a single species. Population dynamic that we refer here is actually how the population is actually changes over time. So that is definition of population ecology. Okay. All right. So population growth. Concept number one that you need to know is population growth. Pertumbuhan populasi. Right. So here you need to know some terms like natality, mortality, and migration. Okay. So natality, mortality, and migration can actually affect a growth of population. Okay, so birth, or we call as birth, refer or relates to natality, kadar kelahiran. Death related to mortality, kadar kematian, right? And migration. So migration divided into two: immigration and emigration. Okay, so immigration means kadar kemasukan populasi ataupun pertambahan populasi due to movement of individual from one population to another population. Whereby emigration is a process where number of individual in that particular population leaving that population. Contoh, orang yang berhijrah daripada kampung pergi ke bandar. So that is emigration. Ataupun orang daripada luar masuk dalam negara Malaysia. So that is immigration. Okay, right. Okay, the first concept is natality. So what is natality? Natality is average per capita of birth rate. Okay, so natality referring to kadar kelahiran per capita. Per capita usually we refer to per 1,000 people per year. Per capita or per 1,000 people, depending on the population size. Okay, so human birth rate usually expressed as the number of birth per 1,000 people per year, and it is symbolized as B. Okay, whereby mortality is the average per capita of death rate, kadar kematian, which usually expressed in what I call it per 1,000 people per year, ataupun the death rate in that particular population per year, and it is symbolized as D. Okay, that is mortality. Okay, next is migration. So migration divided into two: immigration rate, symbolized as I, which is the movement of individual into a population, right? Occur when individual enter a population and thus cause increase in population size. So contoh, pekerja-pekerja asing datang masuk Malaysia. So they are called as, they are actually involving increasing the immigration rate, kadar kemasukan individual into Malaysia, which will increase the size of population in Malaysia. So that is immigration and symbolized as I. Whereby emigration, right, symbolized as E, is the movement of individual out of the population. It happens when individual leaving the population, which will decrease the population size. Okay, contoh macam itulah bilangan orang yang keluar daripada kampung ke bandar. So it will decrease the population size in that particular kampung. Okay, so that is effect of migration. Okay, thus growth rate, right? Kadar pertumbuhan. Okay, so kadar pertumbuhan or rate of change of a population per capita, right, can be given as R equals to B minus D plus I minus E. And this is a very important formula which not given in exam. So you have to hafal. R equals to B minus D plus I minus E. B is birth rate, D is death rate, I is immigration rate, and minus E emigration rate. Okay, right. So kena hafal Okay, so you can see that birth and immigration will increase population size, whereby death and emigration can lead to the decrease of population size. Okay, so these are somehow summary to relate how birth, death, emigration, immigration affecting a population. Okay, right. Okay, nak bagi contoh macam mana? Alright, we look at India. The birth rate in India is very high, but the resources is very limited. So bila birth rate is ataupun the population size is high due to maybe birth rate or due to immigration, right? But the resources are very limited, somehow it can affect the population in a negative way. Walaupun kita nampak okay population size dia bertambah, but then since the resources is limited, dia akan menyebabkan benda-benda lain, which we are going to see later on, right? So tu. Okay, so as summary of population, birth and immigration can increase the population size, death and emigration can decrease the population size. Okay, right. Example. Okay, soalan calculation also sangat glamour related to this growth rate. Okay. Alright, soalan yang pertama. In 2008, the human population in Langkawi Island is recorded as 65,000. Right? In 2009, there were 1,000 births and 300 deaths. In the same year, 300 left the island to a various part of the world and 500 immigrants were recorded. Determine the population size in 2010 if the growth rate was constant. Panjangan soalan ni kan. So you nampak tak, dia ada tahun 2008, 2009 and dia minta 2010. So you have to use the data that you get from 2008 and 2009 in order for you to determine what is the population size in 2010. Okay, alright. So kita tengok macam ni. By the end of 2008, right, dan masuk kepada early 2009, right, maksudnya by the end of 2008 and entering 2009, the population size in Langkawi Island is 65,000. Okay, throughout January sampai December of 2009, there are few things happen in Langkawi. Iaitu 100 birth. Maksudnya dalam 1000 kelahiran dalam populasi 65,000 tu, right? Birth, and then they are 300 death, and then 300 left the island. Okay, and 500 immigrant. Okay, so this is what happened throughout 2009. So you have to calculate what is the population size, right, by the end of 2009. Faham tak? Maksudnya mula-mula tu tahun 2009, which is carry forward by with the 2008. So population Langkawi assume as to be 65,000 population. So sepanjang tahun 2009 benda ni berlaku. 1000 kelahiran, 300 kematian, so you is asked to calculate, right, what is the population size in 2009. So to know what is the population size of 2009, first thing first, you have to get the R. You kena dapatkan R. What is R? R equals to B minus D plus I minus E. Dulu. Okay. So how to get R? You have to get the rate of birth and the rate of death. Okay. Madam tulis kat bawah ni sebab tak naklah tunjuk jawapan terus kan. Okay. So what is the R? Okay. B berapa? Macam mana kita nak buat? Adakah kita nak buat 1000 bahagi 1000? Tak payah. Alright. So you want to get the rate, you just divide with the population size. So 1000 birth minus death, 300 death over the population size in current situation, which is 65,000. So kita nak dapatkan kadar kelahiran dan kematian dalam populasi 65,000 ni. Okay. Plus I minus E. So ini macam mana pula? $300 minus salah. I dulu. I ialah 500 immigrant. I 500 minus 300 over 65,000. Okay. So what is your R? Okay, help me calculate right now.
9/650.
Berapa perpuluhan tu?
Sekejap. 0.0138.
0.0138. Right? Ataupun you boleh round out jadi 0.014. Cukup. Untuk exam, kita punya titik perpuluhan ni 3 titik perpuluhan nama dia. Okay. Macam ni cukup. 0.014. So this is the growth rate that happened in 2009. Okay, itu cara yang pertama. Belum siap lagi. Kita baru dapat R. The growth rate is 0.014. Baru dapat R. So next we have to find out what is the population size by the end of 2009. Setelah apa yang berlaku throughout 2009. Right? So there is another formula that you have to hafal. Okay? Right. So let's look at this one. Okay? So this is what you have just now. So you have to get R dulu. So remember this formula. Formula number 1. R equals to B minus D plus I minus E. Say you get R 0.014. Okay, plus minus tadi tu 0.01. 0.014. Okay, next, the second formula for you to know what is the growth rate, right, or the new population size at 2009, you have to use the second formula. So this is the second formula. Kena hafal dn over dt equals to Rn. So R kita dapat dah tadi 0.014. N is the number of population size. Ni. Number of population size. Berapa population size yang original? 65,000. Right? And the growth rate that happened in 2009 is 0.014. So you akan dapat 9110. And what is the new population size in 2009? So you get 65,000 plus 910, then you get 65,910. So this is the new population size for 2009. Okay, so meaning this is jawapan yang pertama. Apa tadi jawapan dia? 65910. 910. Okay, dah siap ke belum? Dah siap ke belum? Have you got the answer?
Belum.
Belum. Sebab kita baru dapat what is the population size in 2009. The question asking you what is the population size for 2010 if the growth rate was constant. Maknanya whatever happened between ataupun within 2010 lebih kurang sama apa yang berlaku pada 2009, meaning the rate is the same. Right? So what is the population size in 2010 if the growth rate was constant? Growth rate constant means R sama. R sama. R is equal, meaning R equals to 0.014. Okay, so nak buat macam mana tu? So remember, this number, right, is the population size in 2009, which will be carried forward in the early year of 2010. Okay, 2010. So 2010 sampai hujung 2010. So it started with 65,910. Okay, so dia tanya what is the population size in 2010 if the growth rate is constant? So R sama 0.014. Sama. So which formula that you have to use? Nak guna R equals to B minus D plus I minus E or R equals to, dn over dt equals to Rn? Which formula that you have to use? dn over dt equals to Rn. So, okay, since the growth rate is constant, mean your R is similar. So then you use formula dn over dt equals to Rn. So our R is 0.014 times N. What is our N? Yes. Ingat, kena guna the current population size. 65,910. Okay. So what is our number? What is our number?
66,832.74.
Apa tu? 0404 darab ni berapa? Semula.
Tak, saya kira population sekali.
Janganlah sambung population dulu.
922.7.
922.7 kalau 922.7, ingat we are talking about orang. So janganlah masukkan point. So kita round upkan sahaja. Sama ada you ambil 922 ataupun you ambil 923. So tak ada masalah. Okay? Right. So contohlah Madam ambil 923. Contoh Madam ambil 923. So jangan risau. Jawapan you will be within a range. Right? So this is the new population, additional population or additional individual in that population. So kita dah siap ke belum?
Belum.
Belum. So kita kena dapatkan the population size. Population size for 2008. Apa 2008 ni? 2010. So 923 plus 65910. Barulah dapat. Berapa tadi ya?
66,833.
Okay, 66,833. Macam gitu. Okay, boleh? So ini soalan panjang. Right? Melibatkan 3 tahun. 2008, 2009 and 2010. So this is what you should do. Okay, so let's see the answer over here. All right, growth rate constant. So you get additional individual is 923. So as you use formula dn over dt equals to Rn, and now the new population size in 2010 is 66833. Okay? Boleh
Boleh, Madam.
Okay, another example. Okay, another example. Okay, example 2. Egypt. From Langkawi, we fly to Egypt. Okay, the birth rate for Egypt in 1992 was 32 per 1,000 people, while the death rate was 8 per 1,000 people. The total population was 80 million individual. Determine the growth rate, which is R, for Egypt in 1992. Macam mana nak buat soalan macam ni? Okay, untuk soalan macam ni, if you notice here, dia dah bagi kat sini, the birth rate. It already given you rate. So 32 per 1,000 people means apa? 32 for every 1,000 people, meaning the rate is 0.00, salah. 0.032. Okay, as compared to Langkawi, you can see again, back to Langkawi question. Langkawi question is not in rate. You have to you have to search for the rate, kadar dia. Langkawi punya soalan dia bagi awak 1,000 beranak, 1,000 mati, 300 mati ni. But in Egypt, it used the word rate. Right? So biasanya kalau rate mesti dalam keadaan dah dalam keadaan macam ni lah. Maksudnya dia dah bahagi according to population size, around 32 for every 1,000 individual. Macam tu. And the death rate was 8 per 1,000 people. So meaning the death rate is D. The birth rate is B. So B is equals to 0.032. Death rate was D equals to 0.008. Nampak tak? Dia dah bagi dalam bentuk rate. So did you need to divide again by 80 million individual? Tak payah dah. Sebab kadar dia dah bagi 32 dalam setiap 1,000 orang. So dia bahagi perkadaran kat situ. Okay? Right. So tak perlu buat macam Langkawi tadi. Langkawi kena divide with total population size kan? Sebab dia bukan bagi dalam kadar. You have to search the kadar. Okay? Right. So determine the growth rate for Egypt in 1992. So macam nak buat? R equals to B minus D plus I minus E. So what is your birth rate? You already get your birth rate 0.032 minus 0.008. So is there any data for I and E? Tak ada. Kalau tak ada, just kosongkan aja lah. Tambah kosong. Kan? Ataupun biar je. So apa you dapat? R equals to
0.024.
0.024. So this is the rate. This is the rate for Egypt in 1992. Okay, next. If there is no migration and the growth rate is constant, determine the population size of Egypt in 1993. Kalaulah tak ada migration pada tahun tersebut, right? And the growth rate constant. So growth rate constant since tak ada migration, okay, no migration, so growth rate constant. So what is the population size in 1993? So towards hujung 92 yang akan bawa ke awal 93. What is the population size of Egypt in 1993? Okay, so macam nak buat? Senang aja. Samalah macam tadi. Okay, ni soalan pertama. 0.024. And population growth for Egypt in 1993, right? dN over dt equals to Rn. So you use the second formula. Okay, dN over dt equals to Rn. So R 0.024 times 80 million. So you get this number 1,001.92 million, right? And new population size for 1993 will be ni tambah dengan 80 million. Then you get 8.2 times 10 to the power of 7. Okay, population size. Nampak tak kat situ? Okay. Macam mana kita nak bagi clue? Macam nak buat Kalau the question related to 2 tahun sahaja, 2 tahun macam tadi ni, 92 dengan 93. So the way of calculation will be simple as this one. Macam ni, ikut cara macam ni je. So dapatkan R and then terus tambah dengan population size. But if you, the question involve 3 different years. Macam Langkawi tadi. So you can see your step must be having an additional step. Dapatkan dulu R, right? And then dN over dt, new population size, constant rate, and then new population size. That is the difference. Okay, cuma as my experience, dah lama dah tak keluar soalan yang involving 3 different years. Selalunya ada 2 tahun sahaja. Okay, macam tu. Boleh tak apa, nanti kita try soalan-soalan from workbook ataupun from extra exercise yang madam ada nanti. Okay, alright. So, okay. So I guess that's all for today. Which involve calculation and the concept behind population growth, and then the formula for population growth. Okay. So ingat semua formula tu. Any question?
Madam,
Mm-hmm.
possible tak kalau dia cakap growth rate dia tak constant?
Tak. Biasanya dia akan follow ikut growth rate constant.
Okay, madam.
Okay, alright. Thank you for the question. Bagus soalan tu. Dia takkan, so far kita takkan larilah bagi tiba-tiba rate tak constant ke, rate lain ke kan. Tak ada. Okay. Lagi soalan? Tak ada. Okay, kalau tak ada soalan.